Hello and welcome to another review of a Kamen Rider DX toy. Today we're taking a look at the DX Neo DiEnd driver. This is a premium Bandai Premium exclusive, so you have this little cardboard box to go along with it. But it just sort of sticks it in the middle line. Like, yeah, it's a premium Bandai item, but it's still a DX toy. It's more kid friendly than the CSM like collector's stuff. And the upside to that is we are paying, for the most part, a DX price for this gun. Not as cheap as the original DX toy, but there is a lot more stuff going on in here than the original DX toy, so that's fine. Well, I never had the original DX toy. I do have the CSM, so I'm going to compare this with the CSM and see how well this fares compared to previous releases in the decade line. Just a quick look at the box here. It is done quite stylistic with all the black coloring going around it, just like the Neo Deca driver. And on the back here you can see all of the secondary riders all the way up to Gates. And on the top of the box you get to see a bunch of the cards, secondary riders here. DiEnd there holding the blue gun on the side of the boxes. Inside you get the instruction taped to the top of this cardboard tray. And inside you have the Neo DiEnd driver, the bunch of cards, and of course this card holder. And just like the original DX toy, that's all you get. You don't have any belt straps or belt buckles, meaning that if you want a belt to go with your DiEnd gun, you're gonna have to have the CSM DiEnd driver. If you don't have that, then sadly you won't have any of the other cosplay items. On the side we have the CSM tray, on the right hand side the Neo DX one, which is going to be the exact same one as the old DX one. In fact, all of the plastic molding from here on out is the exact same as the old DX toy from the outside anyway. So this can go on the older, like regular like DX belt straps. You just sort of slide that on. So if you have the Neo Decade driver, you can do that with that. And of course this one's for CSM, has the Foco straps. You can see the Bandai copyright logo there. Both these can hold about 20 cards each. This one holds it much better and closes much better, because when you slide the cards in, you know, the cards aren't exactly going to be all lined up properly or stacked up properly, but this one pushes the cards together so you see it's mostly flat, whereas this one you're going to be fidgeting around a little bit just to get it just right. So maybe you don't want to put, you know, 20 cards in there. And when I say it fits 20 cards, it just fits literally. On the CSM one, it's a little bit smoother to push in. On this one, you might be worried that you're going to start scratching the cards when you do that. And yes, this one has a shiny finish, fingerprint magnet. This one has a nice matte finish, but the overall molding on the front seems to be the same. Looks the same for the most part. There you go. And here you have, I think it's something about 40 cards in here. You have the DN attack cards, you have the final forms for the main riders, and of course the Kamen rides for all the secondary riders. I know some of these attack rides though do seem to have the same barcode. Now here's the thing, the original DX DN gun didn't have a barcode reader. It cycled through 3 different sounds. I think it was the henshin noise, and then the attack noise, and then final attack noise, and that was it, and because you got the gun blasting sounds. So, but this one, much like the CSM, actually has a barcode reader in it. However, I do believe that the barcode reader is not as sophisticated as the CSM one, because I think it has slightly less barcode stuff reading. So it is still the barcode reader in this DN gun is closer to the DX Deca drivers than it is to the CSM stuff. So inside we have the cards. We have Kamen Rider DN complete. We have Neo Illusion. Okay, that's just illusion. And we have Invisible, Cross Attack, Blast, and Barrier. You can see on all these photos he is holding blue guns, so I guess that makes it a bit different. The final attack right at the end, and of course we have G3, Knight, Kaiser, Garen, Ibuki, Gatak, Igza, Zeranos, Axel, Birth, Meteor, Beast, Baron, Maka, Spectre, Brave, Cross C, and Gates. And then you just have the complete form for Decade, Kuga, Agito, Miyuki, Vise, Blade, Ibiki, Kabuto, Deno, Kiva, Double, Oz, Forze, Wizard, Gaim, Drive, Ghost, X8 and build. And unfortunately there's no final form for ZO. As far as I can tell, these cards are identical to the ones found in the CSM set. Cards have the same barcode as the CSM stuff. Obviously the only difference is that you're going to get the blue gun on these, but otherwise they are the same as the CSM cards. The secondary rider cards that show up in the CSM set are also identical. Once again, I do have the original DX version, so I'm just going to compare this with the CSM momentarily. But first, let's just take a look at what it is right now. This is obviously going to be the exact same molding, at least from the outside, as the original DX gun. And the inside's probably a little bit different, just to accommodate the slightly different hardware inside for the the barcode scanner and all that. There you go. So overall body is molded in a metallic blues, a bit of a glitter thing going on there. We've got some painted blacks, painted golds, and the silvers right there. Metallic red on the front there, and of course we have an ugly sort of cut with plastic how it's molded and put together. This one doesn't have it though. This one has a bit piece just sort of on top of that just to cover it up. And on the back side here we have the different screw holes and all that. Not really sure what that's hiding. It must be hiding something. There's a piece there. It's not a button or anything. It looks like a button, but it's not. Batteries go in here, and got the power switch right there. If we compare this to CSM1, you see again, very similar molding stuff. CSM1 has metal tips on the front there, so you don't get that plastic cut, but you still see it underneath and all that stuff. And yeah, the CSM1 also has a lot of screw holes on this, so looks good from this side. And there you go. Pretty much just some basic color swapping. Okay, so much like the Neo Deca driver versus the CSM Deca driver, this one sounds a little bit louder, but this one has a bit more of a bassness to the audio. So this one sounds a bit better just for that, but this one, in terms of just a kid playing with it, they're going to enjoy this one just because they can hear it in the street a bit more. And I just noticed I rubbed some of the paint off there. That's a bit annoying. But that's going to happen. I can fix that myself. Yeah, same audio, just this one's a bit different. Now one of the things I thought the original DX one couldn't do is that you can sort of swing this and it'll open up the gun like he does. It's very cool. I was just figuring, oh, maybe it's a bit more weight with the metal tips, but I was wrong because you can do that with the DX one as well. Hey look, you can do that just fine. One thing while recording the sound demo videos, I noticed that the CSM click here is a lot harder to push than this one. So this one's easier to push. I think there might be like an angle or bump somewhere inside that sort of just gets in the way for the CSM one. This one doesn't have that, or maybe you can say the CSM one is more sturdy, so it's harder to push this gun barrel thing around. One of the things I noticed about this is it still has that issue where if you put the card in and it's maybe, I don't know, slightly off like that, it can happen, and then it won't read the barcode and you're also scratching cards and you don't really want to do that. Right, just a quick sound thing here. And shit. And one thing I've noticed about this gun is so if you want to hear the rest of the sounds, please check out the sound demo videos as well as the cards inserted into the Neo Deca driver and vice versa, as well as the CSM drivers vice versa, so reading each other's cards and see what you get. So in short, not only can this driver read all of the cards that it comes with, of course, it can also have some sort of sound trigger from all the other Neo Deca driver cards, and it can also read most of the CSM DiEnd cards as well. At the very least, this gun can and say the names of all of the summon cards from the CSM DiEnd driver. Now of course there are some cards that it can't read, for example some of the Telebi-kun ones, and the Telebi magazine stuff that was readable in the original DX Deca driver as well as the CSM Deca driver. There are a few of the cards that give off the wrong sounds from the CSM stuff, so not everything is going to work. This thing can also still say all of the Showa rider names, so that's pretty cool. Now obviously the DiEnd driver doesn't have as many sounds as the Deca driver. No, DX, CSM or Neo versions, all of them, it's going to have less sounds in them. Even if it does recognize certain cards, it's just going to play a generic effects sound at the end. But one thing that was still quite good or decent is that I noticed I can still read the extra Kamen Rider form changing cards from the CSM stuff. For example, Cougar Pegasus or Den-O Axe form. But of course it won't say the names, it will just say Kamen Ride Den-O, Kamen Ride Cougar, and it won't know what name it is. But that just means that the sensor in there can read those barcodes, there's just no audio put in there. Which is also slightly frustrating if you think about it, because they programmed it to read those barcodes, but they just cheaped out on the sound memory. How much money did they save on that? Because having these sound effects is surely not that big of a memory hog. What, we're thinking of like, well, I don't know, 100 megs of memory in the chip here somewhere? Obviously less. Like, I don't know how much money they're saving. It would have been so much better and so easy for Bandai to allow this to say Cougar Pegasus or Cougar Titan, but unfortunately it doesn't do that. Other surprising cards that it can read and produce some sort of sound is the Final Ride Amazon, for example. That was pretty cool. And finally, in terms of the sounds, the most disappointing thing from this is that it can't do the monster version of DiEnd. That would have been really cool if it could still do that, and of course it cannot read any of the monster cards, like Kaiju Ride cards. They just have a error sound. So there you have it. Once again, if you want to hear all of the sounds coming from this gun, please check out the sound demo in somewhere YouTube stuff on my channel. I'll be publishing them on YouTube before this particular video. For me personally, the look of the gun, this whole blue color, I get it, I get what they're going for, but the old sort of black and metallic gold just looks so much nicer. This, I mean, come on, looks like a toy. Like, this color is really toyish, whereas this, I mean, you can, yeah, it's still a toy, but you can sort of get away with it like it's some sort of mechanical thing with the silver and black, whereas this one, this whole light blue thing, just kind of looks like eh. But the good thing about this gun is that yes, it can read a lot of the CSM cards, which is a nice and pleasant surprise. Which means in a way you're just sort of filling in the blanks of the different secondary or third riders in each series, just so you can have a sort of Kamen Rider, like a Deca driver voice to read them out loud. So I think that's kind of cool. So getting more Kamen Rider cards that actually can be read in a henshin device is a nice thing to have. And it's pretty amazing, even after 10 years, they're still releasing more Kamen Rider related cards, even though Bandai themselves have moved on to Kamen Rising, which, yeah, it's okay. But the downside to this is that they locked off a lot of the cards that should have come with the Neo Deca driver. While technically this gun can read all the cards that come with it, a lot of them just say the name and they don't really do anything. Like, every rider summoning sound is the exact same. Whereas those final form rider cards really should have gone with the DX Neo Deca driver. If you're only gonna get the Deca driver, you're losing out a lot of the sounds. And so they're pretty much, so Bandai's pretty much forcing you to buy this gun for those extra cards, and those cards don't really do anything here. They do more stuff in the Deca driver, not here. That doesn't affect me, of course, because I like Deca a lot, I like DiEnd a lot, so, you know, I was going to pick up both anyway. But for those of you who only like Deca, only want the belt with the proper sound effects and all that, you're probably not happy that you're forced to pick this gun up as well. And I am wondering if there's anyone who's bought this gun and they'll just take those cards away and then just have this with the DiEnd cards as well as the secondary rider cards, and trying to sell this off without the cards that go with the Deca driver. Another downside to this is a lot of the cards that come with this gun also don't really work with the Neo Deca driver. It's like, yeah, I get both of these are DX toys and not CSM stuff, but if both of these come out sort of roughly in the same line and there's certain cards that they can't read from each other, that kind of sucks. So who knows, maybe a few years later we'll get the CSM version of the Neo Deca and DiEnd driver, and well, if they do, I'll probably buy them anyway and then try and sell these off, but that'd be quite annoying to a lot of fans. And of course, for something like this, when the CSM is already out, they really could have copied some of the modes and given us perhaps the DiEnd belt as well, although there's nothing Neo there, the Neo stuff, so that's probably why they didn't issue this gun with the belt. So if you're only going to pick up one DiEnd driver, I'm gonna say pick up the CSM one because it's got more stuff in it, it's a lot nicer, They got the metal tips, it's built better, and of course the overall color of it is nicer too. But that's a frustrating recommendation anyway. If you're a big Decade fan, you're gonna want to pick up both anyway, just because this one and the old one offer slightly different sounds. And you picked up the DX Neo Deca driver, you're gonna want those cards for that as well. And the old one doesn't have that, unless you can print your own cards. Great, then you can do that. But if you can't, then if you're a Decade fan, then yeah, you're gonna want to pick it. And the prices are going up quite quickly, so please hurry if you do like it. The DX Neo Deca driver prices have skyrocketed to triple, even quadruple prices. So if you like Decade, hurry up and pick them up before the prices keep going up. If you're not too bothered about the new cards and the new sound, or you already have the original one, then you can probably skip this because of how toyish it looks. But if you really like the Deca driver sounds and you just want something to play with the new cards, then you definitely want to pick this up. It's frustrating, I know. Damn it, Bandai. And you know, 10 years later they might have another one come out with another 10 cards maybe. I feel like that's something they would do. The third Deca driver and the third DiEnd driver, although they're going to have to start reprogramming a lot more of the barcodes to make it read more of the newer stuff, and then they'll probably lose a lot of functions from the older stuff unless they can make new barcodes, or is there no room left for new barcodes. And we move on. Yes, I do have the real bone Neo DiEnd figure arts next to me somewhere down here, and of course I also have the Deca version. And of course I have the Decade version of Kamen as well, so stay tuned on this channel for those videos. And once again, please check out the demo sounds. I've cut all the time wasting bits out so you can just hear the snap, 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 and hear all of the sounds in one go. So please check those videos out. As always, you can support this channel, leave in comment below how you feel about this guide, or how they split the cards and made it annoying for most fans if they just want the Deca driver. And don't forget to click the thumbs up button and subscribe button if you haven't done so already. As always, you can support this channel by sharing this video with other people who might be interested in picking this toy up. As always, take care, have a nice day. I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye now.